live. And we are live, and it's been around, what would you say, Amberly? About a month and a half away. Yeah, it's been tough. But welcome back to our Harddrive page. I'm glad to see everybody here. Yes, I have a very special friend here. He's a good friend as well, and quite well known in the DJ industry and so on. But before I get to all that fun and before I tell you who it is, I think it's time to play our intro. So go for it, Emily. What's the Harddrive intro? Okay, and we're back. I hope you guys liked the clip. Gives you an idea what we do and so on. And today we've got Bryn Lotter. Now, I felt quite bad, I must say, because for a while, when I just met you, I kept on calling you Brian. And Brian. And you're so nice. You never told me. And then one day, it's Bryn. With a Y. But Bryn. So, welcome.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me here. It's very cool. Yeah,
So,
the whole Brian story, it actually, everyone really calls me Brian, so I'm just used to it. So I just go with it. So
go with it. Yeah, my name with Rainer as well, especially when I'm Ireland and it's very funny. Oh, Rainer, oh yeah. Yes. And then Ireland, because in Ireland, they can't say R. So it's sort of Lino, and so my second name's Quentin. Just, Quentin. Okay, fine.
For sure.
And then we talk to Scottish, Reno. Yeah, with 14 R's and all, it's such a joke between the two guys.
Yeah.
But thank you for being here.
That's cool.
So, how's the COVID been treating you?
Next question. Yeah, this has been an interesting year, I've got to be honest. Things that have happened this year has been completely out there, but I suppose for everyone that is the case.
Yes, sure. Yeah, and I suppose as well, like I was on a show a while ago, Australian show, and we were talking about, the music industry and the size it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you think, okay, music, so you've got, for instance, you've got DJs, and you've got a DJ guy, it's going to play the music, and you've got your PA for a show. And like, no, you've got the caterers, you've got your food, you've got your venues, you've got sometimes videographers, if it's a live show, of course, musicians. If it goes into the world of broadcasting, it's a huge industry. Backgrounds, even a guy said to me, don't forget about our guys that create the aesthetics of the place.
Yeah.
Like, gee, I didn't even think about that, I always just fight with them always. I don't know why they always want to put their plants in front of my speaker. No, it's a DJ. Did you ever have it where you had a booth and they tried to put plants in front of your booth, or at least not?
They put a bar fridge in front of the one speaker.
Wow.
Which is quite interesting. So they left it there. It was a sponsored one. So
Yeah.
so it's sitting there right in front of one of the subs. So you just hear this.
Telling my music's gonna be so hot. You're not gonna keep yourself cold there, dude.
Yeah, so it's been there before, yeah.
Nice. So tell me, what was your thing that got you into? Where in your life did you decide? You know what? I want to become DJ or play music. Where did it sort of start?
Okay, so I started actually DJing when I was about 15.
Sure. Okay.
So before that, what I was seeing at that time, the actual rave scene started here in South Africa, and I was going at that young age, which was which was
Camel experience.
was quite young, very young, yeah. So basically I fell in love with the type of style of music and stuff, and then also the sound, and obviously the bass from the speakers and stuff. And then I obviously saw how the guys are DJing and started learning basically that it wasn't just putting a song on a playlist, there's an art to it. And from there I started actually progressing in it as well. I think at about 16 maybe I built my own DJ system.
Oh, okay. Jeez. Okay.
Took some mixes from a amplifier. Do you remember those equalizers?
Oh yes, yeah.
So I took about 3 of them and I just connected together, plugged 2 CD players into it, and it worked.
Look at it. But that's what I said. I said, years ago too, when I started with sound, it was not uncommon to see guys building their own things. So it wasn't as strict as it's now.
Yeah.
In the old days, you would build your own boxes and subs, and it was quite good. It was fine, Now it's become nearly sometimes too complex. And I don't mind it. Like if you go to a pro show and they pay for it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's when you do a little thing. I hope you're not one of those guys. You'll go to a venue that maybe literally has 200 people and say, no, I want like a 20 kVA system.
Yeah, no.
What? Just, I must be guilty. We always say on the sound side, DJs will want 4 subs and 1 top. But it's not really that true. I know I've seen you being more in the pro sound. It's like, no, you need your bass to really your tops. Everything has to be mixed. It's not all about
no, exactly, yeah.
It's all this car sound, it's only
exactly, yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I always had a lot of respect for you too, because you like really, like you said, you're like into the art of the music. I don't just play music, I like to understand art. And that's what brought you, I mean, let's get this right. You're not just a DJ.
Mm-mm.
So, help me out. Music producer,
events organizer, obviously DJ, and it's also going in towards playing instruments as well. So I'm getting more jacked up into that.
Oh, nice. Yeah. But I'm quite surprised. I've seen too, like I say, a lot of the great DJs I see, a lot of them actually, it's quite cool to see they actually play the music and they create their score. It's not like, again, like the older DJs sometimes we had a software and you just patched, you had like 4-bar beats and you patch. It sounds cool. A lot of the guys actually create your own vibes and your own sounds to it, which is great. And on this, talking about events, I mean, you had a plan to do quite a big event this year, and I know you've been planning for it for a while, and you had good feedback. It was going to be quite an impressive big show, which thank you that you allowed us to be part of it, but of course now it didn't happen. Okay. So and sorry for all the other guys out there that had to cancel shows. I know it's been hard, And what most guys maybe don't realize is like, oh no, January it's over, just do it then. I don't think they realize. I mean, how long did it take you basically put the show together?
Well, we've been planning this, so I would say we've been planning it for about 2 years and about a year of implementation.
Sure.
We've actually putting the plan together. I can only say the whole event. So from now, obviously the event is cancelled. We have no intention of doing it anytime soon. We don't know what's happening with COVID, so we can't run the event small. So what it was called was the Unity Festival. We're accommodating from about, so the main stage would accommodate about 10,000 people, the secondary stage about 4,000 people. So it was a massive event, quite a large scale, especially for South Africa size.
Yeah.
And everything, like you were talking about all the people in the behind the scenes, we had to think of everything. It was security, it was toilets, you're looking at either the guys that are going to close off the areas for you, metro, you had to get car guards, you had to speak to security companies.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of security. Wow.
Yeah, so it's a huge amount.
Which is important there.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And the amount of work that was going into all of this, it was huge. But we'd got into a point where we were ready to start the booking of our artists. By March, we were ready to start paying our booking fees and stuff. So everything was in place. Venue's still paid for. Venue's still there. So I have to contact them because I don't know what we're going to do. But everything was in play. We had 5 international DJs, local South African DJs, hip hop artists. It was going to be quite big. We were partnered with the TV, with our national TV company. And so basically where the standing point is now is we won't be able to get sponsors.
Yes. Everybody's under pressure, so they probably all pulled out.
Exactly,
almost.
We can't do the event for 500 people. It would just be a waste, complete waste of everyone's money and stuff. And on top of it, our TV partner is in huge trouble as well.
Yeah.
So we needed all of us together, and the estimate that we had, we needed about 3.5 million just from production costs. And we needed at least ticket sales about 10,000 people.
Yes.
So that was just to cover that actual production.
Sure.
And obviously that was our stepping stone because it was going to become a yearly. We were signing up a deal for the next 3 years. And on top of it was going to be broadcast on TV as well.
Well, I take my hat off because I have looked, for me it's quite easy in the side. I mean, you come to me and say, look, I need sound for so much, I'm involved. But I always say to you guys, we come in maybe 2 or 3 days beforehand, set up and everything sounds great. But the work that it actually took event organizers to put this together, it's not 3 days or a week, it's a long time.
Yeah.
And my one friend even said, he said exactly what most people don't understand. Even in January next year, they say, everything is fine, everything is great, you can go crazy like you want to.
Yeah.
They reckon the first big shows, I'm talking about shows like you guys play, would be 22, not even next year, because again, you need a year and a half to really plan and get ticket sales net. So it's not realistic. You can't do it in a month. So it's open, we're going for it. Doesn't work that way.
I think, to be honest with you, we need to be completely clear and either vaccine or completely clear the virus, because I can't see 10,000 people allowed to be together for a long time.
Yeah.
Unless the government changes the rules. But also then it limits, if you look at what the rest of the world's doing, they're still not doing big things.
Yes.
All small. Most of the DJs are still streaming from their living rooms or from boats or stuff like that. So it's very small gatherings.
And the guys told me about, but why don't you do what some people do, where people come in the cars, park in the cars, and I said, 10,000 people in cars, the amount of size you would need and space, and suddenly the equipment then to accommodate that size, unless everybody plays from an FM radio, but that sort of then destroys it, because the whole concept's alive, and like I said, feeling that bass, and now you're just hitting in the headphones, totally destroys the dynamics of it, especially for the young guys.
It's just, if you think about it also now, accommodate 10,000 people is X amount of squares. Now imagine having to do that with cars.
It would be just crazy.
The thing is, you're going to have to give space at least for everyone to move around and stuff.
So no, that's a bit tricky. So, and then of course you've got a music side to a production side. I mean, I've heard you've been involved in writing and guys putting together 2, 3 more songs. What's the type of vibe of your music you're trying to create? What genre or so are you trying to appeal to?
So the best answer I can give you is open platform, basically to anyone, from young to old. If I look at my statistics on people that listen to my music, it's from below 18 up to, I've had people listen up to 65. So it is a vast variety of dance music. But the type of dance music, I've done trance, EDM, Wobble House is the latest ones, 2 Wobble House songs that I've been part of. I'm going to be producing a new song which is going to be a bit different as well. So it is open, different types of songs.
And I did feel that after some of the songs I've listened that you've done, it's nice because you do try to, you do put a music together that really has a bit of the feel of, for most guys that don't know from South Africa, we've got 11 official languages and we've got such a rich culture, and we do mix our stuff too. Most people, they won't know here if I say nee ek verstaan,
exactly,
or yebo, or simunye, or lekker. And you found a way to really incorporate a lot of the types of music so that it does accommodate for not just specific, but really open up to a more South African genre, not just the age, but also the different cultures, which is great, and so on. So now I'm going to ask you one question. I do ask this question to most people. And by the way, while I'm getting to questions, if you have any question you want to ask, type it in there on the site. Please ask us questions. This is live. This is not pre-recorded. If we make mistakes here, it's there. Can't delete it. So, but if you have any questions, ask away. Please keep it clean and so on. We're all pros in the industry. But the one thing I always ask is, usually as a DJ, you go around, you go to venues, you don't always get everything. You also certain things you don't get it. The sound guys. But that's how guys are with the DJs. What's the one thing you think, because surely of course when you travel you probably always have like your gadget bag or something you carry. What's the one thing you think as a DJ, good DJ, should always have with you that might help you out of trouble, or just it's good to have?
You know, it depends on the venue. So
Yeah.
sometimes I've played very insane equipment, very professional equipment. Sometimes hasn't been professional equipment. So you've got to prepare for all of it. I'm the type of person, as long as you give me something to push play on, I'm happy. You know,
Okay.
you know, I can DJ, I'm happy. So what I would suggest is always have a decent pair of headsets. It's got to be your top priority, decent pair of headsets. Your memory sticks, you have backups. So if you've got 2 memory sticks that you're playing for,
Good. Yeah.
bring 2 extra memory sticks with exactly the same music on. And then a headphone jack.
Oh, headphone jacks. Yeah, especially now that you get these 2 sizes. You never know if it's the mini jack or the big jack.
Exactly,
Yeah, and I always get 3 or 4 of them too. And it's amazing how they keep on disappearing.
Exactly,
You know,
it's a mystery.
it's like pens, you know. You borrow this, I'll probably never see it. Also, when you mix it, and when somebody else uses your desk, you notice, it's gone.
No, exactly, yeah.
So yeah, headphones is good. I can believe that, you know.
Well, what I do recommend always asking is when the organizers book you, is ask what equipment they have. So then you know also what to prepare for. That's what I say, it's a question of what to have in there, but I always double up on everything.
Yeah, and I think that's important, because sometimes you can send a tech rider.
Yeah.
And you assume that's what you're getting, but it's not necessary. You might assume you're asking for the Pioneer, whatever you call Nexus 1000. You get then it's a 350 or something.
No, exactly.
So it's better just to make sure what they have there.
As you also, as an organizer, we'll tell what we have. So if we've got CDJ 2000s, and that's what we've got. So we'll say we've got 3 or 4 of those with a DMX 100 mixer, and that's all we've got.
And that's what you use.
And that's what we told them. So, but we're straight with them. We don't beat around the bush and say, this is the equipment.
No, that is good. Yeah, Roger, tell them that's what I have. Then they just arrive, then they end up with a fight on the stage because not what
exactly,
you have. And I do tell, especially the sound guys too, you know, it's also be fair, you know, like you said, got to look at your market too.
Yeah.
If you're going to go to a place where you play for, let's say, a small group, 200 or 300 people, you can't. Now, me coming from a band side, now it's become a thing sometimes as band members too, you get a bit lazy of carrying your equipment.
Yeah.
So you automatically, as a keyboard, say, no, it must be a Yamaha certain brand. But meanwhile, you only do play with something smaller. You're actually okay with something smaller.
Yeah.
Then they say, no, it must be or Roland E700. But you play with the 150 at home. Just because you expect them to pay because you want to look good on stage. Now they've got to hire in a thing that actually nearly takes 50 of the tickets of the 200 people they have there. And I always say, you know, also just be a bit realistic. See where you're playing and, you know, just try to be a bit also play with, you know, the game. Don't always just, you know, so and so and so on.
You see, what the industry standard now is Pioneer. So you'll expect to have Pioneer system. But now that Denon's it's growing quite, you know, they're growing quite, they're actually getting taken over the market quite a lot. Pioneer still remains the only setup you'll find in any club, most clubs in around the world.
Yeah, that's the standard.
It is the standard. So yeah, it's a big debate between the two. Yeah. But you got to be prepared to DJ. This personally, I believe it's not the equipment that makes the DJ. It's the DJ that can. If you can't DJ, then the equipment's not going to help you. So that's the way I see it.
But is it coming a bit with certain DJs? For instance, I'm putting in a dog box here, and you're going to get in trouble with some DJs. Where it has become, of course, the laptop's fine, but it sort of becomes so much like the software. You know, I see it often too. You're listening to see the guy. It looks like he's going crazy mixing, and then you check now, it says like your thing's not even plugged in, dude.
No.
Where you realize that he's basically just put the songs in. It's all pre-runs there, and he's just making like he's DJing. You know, that's like in the sound industry. We're starting, you know, having a problem. We have a singer, then you realize, but they're miming. And it's like, okay, you know. I suppose it's grey areas. Maybe we shouldn't get too much in it.
Well, I'll be honest with that. You see, it's a different, you know, it's the same as you're saying someone that's miming, you're not seeing with. You must remember that people are there to pay for performance.
Yes.
I suppose you could get away with that, say, if you were in a club or something like that. But if you were DJing as a professional DJ on a major event, I wouldn't do a pre-recorded event. But also as a DJ, if you're in a nightclub. So as a personal rule, is you need to be able to read the crowd.
Yes.
So you put a song in there and you can see that people don't really like it. Now if it's pre-recorded,
and that's playing.
That sounds playing. So then you can start seeing the thing of a DJ is to keep the dance floor full all the time.
Yeah.
When you see it start emptying, you need to be able to chuck another song to bring them back up.
Find them.
Or whatever that type of vibe. Maybe they want it a bit slower. So you need to start or slow down your set, one or the other, and you need to be able to change it up on the fly.
So you got something for us there, Amberly. I see she's like giving me a thing there. Yeah, go for it.
Alright, so we have a question from Peter. He asks, do you do sets? And if so, how long is a set on average?
So it depends on the event. So normally we work from 45 minutes. Then we've got an hour set, and then sometimes you get a 3-hour set. My longest one, I think, was about 6 hours, was for New Year's. That does get a bit tedious.
Wow. Yeah, I get about an hour and a half if I have to play. And that's at a wedding, just music. And I mean, at least with weddings, there you sort of have a preset list, but you still sort of check the crowd. So, but of course, I always say there's a difference like at a wedding because you sort of just play music. Yeah. And then of course you get the DJ industry that you got. I think after 1.5 hours I start like. Wow, that's a push.
No, it is. That was, I'm gonna be honest, from one of the recent events, it was a bit hectic. It was a bit, it was a bit hardcore. Yeah, by 1 o'clock I was ready to go home because I was over it. If they want to check some of my sets out on SoundCloud and on my website. Yeah. They want to listen to some of the DJ sets.
What I'll do as well at the end, once this is put on YouTube, will give me all the details, put it on there, so that people want to know more about your stuff and so on. And while we're at the topic, you guys also focusing on a website that you're very involved with.
Yeah, so what happened during lockdown, we obviously couldn't DJ, so everyone started DJing on Facebook and stuff, and obviously Facebook keeps kicking us off. So obviously I have got, I can obviously from my business as well as web development and graphic designing, so I was able to build us a website that we could stream directly to the website and create like a vibe with the chat system. Same as if we were doing on Facebook or YouTube. So every Friday night we stream live. This Friday night we will just be rebroadcasting the event. It's just because we're just taking a bit of downtime and stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been a bit slow now, obviously with all the nightclubs opening and stuff. But we're keeping the platform open. And also on the website we've also created a Netflix of mixes.
Okay.
So people can go and start viewing. We're also building on this because we're also partnership with the DJ and Music Production School. There used to be the Pioneer DJ Music School.
Okay.
We partner together. We allow their DJs, their students, to actually do their live set. So what we do is record in the studios in Santon, and that's professionally shot, and then we broadcast it.
Oh wow, that's nice. And it's a good way for them then to also get that live feel.
Exactly, yeah. Look, whether you DJ in front of a crowd or in front of a camera, it's the same pressure because you don't want to make a mistake. So it's good for them to actually get that same type of feeling.
I laughed. Actually, before we started streaming, I said it's easier for me to stand on front of a stage and talk to people than a camera. So for me, actually, this is a bit harder than preaching. So if you get it right on camera, my point of view, then it'll be fine with crowds.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So they must just sorry, I just had in my mind, pioneers should also learn that the guys learn how to use a peripheral vision to ditch it. People throw them at things, Or does that not happen anymore?
No, it doesn't.
I don't think it's a DJ process much. I think it's bands. I watch an old movie nowadays. It's this band playing. It's like an American movie, and they actually have a wire fence in front of this. Like, oh no, jeez. Imagine I played in band, I kept on throwing like that, and they just keep on telling me, we're paying you. The people are just full of nonsense. Imagine that. Eh? So, and then as well, I thought Alice, from a sound side too, because people often ask me now too, what do I carry in a gadget box and so on. And for the sound guys out there, when you work with DJs, I think there's one thing you must always carry with you as well. It's helpful to always just have a microphone with you as well, to give the DJ sometimes they do want to talk to people, and nobody actually thinks, because you automatically think DJ, I don't need a microphone. Yeah. But sometimes you want to talk or cheer the crowds on and so on, or if you do play DJ at just a normal venue of somebody eventually will say, you know, when Kwesi is paying for this venue, it's his birthday, you must at least, you know, happy birthday, and this is some
sort of speech.
So the one thing I carry around, or two of them, is, pass for me there, Emily. Oh, check. Oh, watch it. Presentation is key. DI box. Often what happens, a lot of DJ equipment, especially cheaper DJ stuff, and it's usually just, I've even had some I had to work with that only has an RCA output. And it's unbalanced, or a jack output. I think the Pioneer or better ones, they have a balanced output. They're great. So two things can sometimes happen. You've got this unbalanced output, so you've got a bit of humming if you're running a line for long. Or sadly, it is one of the guys that think that if all the volumes are full and the lights are permanently red, that's great.
Yeah, for sure.
So when it comes to that, it's not the on light. It means you're clipping, but whatever. So just to give an idea for the DI box. Nice thing is, guys, I use these Samsung ones. I'm really happy with them. They're good price. We do supply them. We sell them as well. So if you want to know more about them. The older ones were a little bit, they felt a bit flimsy, but these new ones are like rock solid. Even for the guitarists that like to stand on these things for some reason, this one will last. And yeah, you've got your unbalanced inputs, you've got a balanced output. It just means, for simpler people out there, minimize hum. And then another thing's got a switch too. So, and I say DJ, but even sometimes with guitarists and that, because the amps need to be at a certain volume to get that drive, even if the gains are closed on the desk, we still get too much signal. It got clipping. So nice thing again, in here, can drop the volumes. And then on the odd occasions, when you're in places that the electricity is a little bit questionable, and you might have earth issues between that plugs and a different earth in the back. These also have earth lifts and so on. So I don't go to a place that I don't have these. Now, this is what's called an active one. It does use phantom, or it's got even a battery I can run if I use a desk that doesn't have phantom. Sure. So for the sound guys, and why I say two, because with desks you've got a left and right. Yeah. You do get them in a stereo version too, but I tend to always just buy the mono ones, and I always carry two of them with me. So yeah. So before we leave, any other thing you want to tell the people out there? What's the motivation for you on? Or let me say it like this. I know a lot of people in the sound industry too. Every third person wants to be a DJ or a sound guy or build speakers. It seems to become a big thing, you know. What would you say would be the right step in looking at becoming or going to the DJ industry?
Yeah, I think. So what is the difficultness of DJing is actually getting gigs is not a problem, but it can be quite difficult. So you've got to put a lot of work in. It's not just now that you can DJ, you've got to take the next steps of marketing yourself. You've got to try and get yourself into places. And the thing is, what will help you to be better would be obviously start producing. If you can produce your own music, create your own sound, then you can actually take another step added onto your DJing. So when you go out to somewhere, you've got your own music, you bring in something different. In South Africa, it is a very, very difficult industry. I'm not going to lie there. Yeah. It's a very much who you know industry and stuff. And the thing is also, it does become a bit cutthroat. So some of the guys aren't very nice. Some of them are amazing. You know, you've got much as much, which is any music industries. That's the music industry.
The music industry overall.
But yeah, if you find someone that's actually willing to work with you, you know you can. That's why we've got the nightclub, the Identified's website, because it gives the opportunity for guys to come there and they can do a live stream. They can shoot in the offices, not just for the students, it's for any DJ that's website. And we can start off there. A lot of guys that are top in the industry are looking at it, so they can, you can get known from there. I know one of the guys, JM Cools now, he's just starting to do pretty well, but he started off streaming on our website, streaming on Facebook.
It works. Don't look at that website.
Now he's had two, he played at News Cafe and he's playing it on another club coming shortly. Nice. So that's just he did that during lockdown. He just finished his DJing course through I keep calling it the Pioneer. Through the DJ music production school. He just finished there.
Okay.
So he started off on Facebook through our website, and he's got 2 gigs. He had 2 gigs already, which, that's a start. Something that I also would recommend is that you don't just think that you're going to be at the top immediately. You've got to start at the bottom, work yourself up.
Yeah. So, and let the people pay what you're worth.
Exactly.
I think it also damages the industry sometimes, because somebody asks, a reasonable amount, and somebody's like, because they're just desperate. Then they say, okay, I'll play for 200 Rand. Then they play for 200 Rand, and then they actually make a bad name, for instance, because, they might play, and then the guys would say, well, I can see we got what we paid for, you know, and then you're already hurting your name. So do your homework.
Yeah.
Go and look at what things cost, and of course, do the work that's in, because you can't expect the two to pay decent and it doesn't, or it sounds just like somebody else's playlist,
No, exactly, yeah.
Become unique, become whatever your brand is.
Exactly, yeah.
So, it's funny when I looked at your profile picture, when I put on what's name, it's like I can see that's Bryn Lotter. It's like I can see you in that picture in that industry. You stand out. It's not like, okay, you just look like 100 other guys that I've seen you look the same or whatever.
Yeah.
There is something unique,
Thanks,
and I suppose that's practice too, no?
Yeah, no.
Work it. Music is I said to my wife, if I had to play start a song now from all the songs that's written, and I had to pass away, I wonder if I even touched 1%. If I took all the music of all the worlds. So it's not really saturated. There is a niche you can find that defines you.
Yeah. I think with the whole industry in itself it's a difficult one, just from the whole music perspective in South Africa, just from South Africa's perspective. But we know how difficult it is. We know how hard it can be. But if you look at a worldwide perspective, there is. I don't mean to offend anyone from South Africa, but I feel that we're a little bit closed-minded when it comes to music. There's only certain types of music that can make it, Afrikaans music sells. South Africa, it sells.
Yeah.
Your deep house and all that stuff, that sells.
Yeah.
And then you've got these different new genres that people try to introduce, obviously within South Africa. It's a difficult one to hit. Overseas, it's
more open to
different types of sounds and music.
I feel exactly sometimes with sound. I'll get we supply, I won't say brands because I'm not here to uplift or break brands, but they're like, we want to buy that. And I say, why do you want to buy that? Have you even looked at the room acoustics, what you need? But it's like you say, we're in such a niche because maybe for such a long time we had such a limited understanding or knowledge of a product. In your case, music. In my case, live or sound. And it's like, guys, go and do your homework. Come on, open up a bit. There's such a broad, this and so on. So I just saw a little question there. Who is Miss A? This is Miss A. Just wave there. There's the camera. She does all the switching and everything and answerings and that. She's the one that's making this happen. So thank you there again. We all call her Miss A because she knows everything, things, and so on. So, but great. It was so wonderful to have you here.
Thanks, Ryan.
So just great to have guys that's in the industry and understand, what's going on. I really hope your website starts doing well, and maybe in the future, let's hope that something maybe will happen.
I'm itching to start to do a 500 festival, probably in the new year. I am I'm trying to see how we can get away with a 500.
Hope maybe that hopefully, I'm hoping that all the industries will start coming right again, that the finance can open. And like you say, in our industry, we are very, you get your ticket sales and that, but really the cost of this stuff, these big events only happen as well with the thanks of companies that put their time or their money in, their sponsoring in and so on. And it's important. Even if we go back thousands of years, music really is the backbone, whether it was to do with your identity, actually the way that you grew up or understood things. If you felt a certain way, you played a certain style of music. And that really is Music's not an option.
Yeah,
It's really, I mean, even in our worship industries and churches, music is the backbone. Really,
Exactly, yeah.
it's where it's held together. You've got to remember that. So, thank you, Bryn. Is there any last thing you want to say? Are you?
No, I think I've
happy?
spoken enough.
I'll ask you the one question still as we're saying bye.
Oh, yeah?
Kentucky or Spur? Spur. So it's always good because usually when you work, you eat and you hope they bring you food. If they bring you food, if they remember, I also say Spur is safer because Kentucky is nice, but try to eat with an oily chicken and work on your sliders. Yeah, you're messing them up.
Exactly, yeah.
So, well, thank you for everybody that was out there watching us. I know we always ask this question. You must get tired of hearing it, but guys, to build this channel, it's all about the subscribes and the likes. It sort of creates an analytic thing to put you where your videos show in certain search parameters. So please, like and subscribe would be nice while we're building up our viewers. And then I am going to add, you'll probably by tomorrow, if you come back to this clip on our side, all the details should be there, and Bryn's details too, and website. So if you want to know more about DJ things and so on, he's definitely the man to talk to. So Bryn, thank you for being here, and then till next time, see you again.